Hey everyone, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are. In this video, I wanted to speak to you guys about something that someone asked me specifically, and I thought it was a really interesting question, and I know I want to share all of this stuff with you guys. And she asked me, when did I start my journey of self-help, self-growth, all of that, right? Self-self. When did I start my journey of basically awakening, if you want to call it a spiritual awakening or realization or consciousness, whatever it might be? When did I start that process? And I guess, you could say, I've always been in that process and I'm going to be in that process for the rest of my life, so there's not a specific point, but I really want to be more specific than that. So I think I started, if I think about it, at the age of 21. At that point, I was working in a really amazing, cushy government job in Canada, working a job where it was so easy. It was one of the easiest jobs on this planet. I got a lot of free time. It was cushy. I didn't have to do a lot. I got paid really well, and I was in this position at 21, and I could have just chilled for the rest of my life. I could have worked in this job for the rest of my life for 20, 25 years, and I could have retired with a really good pension and then lived my life, right? And that's what a lot of people there were talking about. All they talked about all day long was their retirement. When are they going to retire? How many more years do they have? How many more months do they have? What are they going to do when they retire? What are they going to do when they leave this job? How are they going to live their life? Blah, 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 right? Because they were so unhappy in the job itself. It's a weird thing. I think I realize more and more that the easier a life gets, in general, because of technology and all that stuff, the more unhappy we get somehow, right? Because I feel like as human beings, we need a lot of challenge in order to feel satisfied. We need to be challenging ourselves, mind, body, and soul, in order to feel like we're living the kind of life that we want to live, in order to feel like we're doing something in a way that we're contributing to the world or to ourselves in a manner, right? But way too many of us have made our lives very easy, and this government job did that for us. It made our life so easy. We didn't have to worry about money. We didn't have to worry about being fired. We didn't have to worry about vacation. We had everything at our disposal, and we were still unhappy. Most of the people that I met were so bitter and unhappy and cynical. Loved them to death. I had such a great time with all of them, but they were still really unhappy, right? And I used to wonder to myself, I'm like, why? Why are they so unhappy? Why are they so bitter? Like, they have the best job on this planet. Why am I surrounded by all these negative people, right? They were all waiting for retirement, for this mystical, magical land in the future, and they could not live in the present moment. They were just so enamored with the idea of retiring and doing the things that they've always wanted to do. And for some reason, it was in their head that they could not do those things right now because their job was restricting them somehow. And so they were all bitter, all negative, and all that negativity was spewing into me, and I was getting bitter and negative myself, and I could feel myself changing from the inside out. I could feel myself becoming that negative person. And I knew that if I stayed there for longer than how long I stayed there for 3 years in a full-time role. I knew that if I stayed there longer, I would have turned into one of those people. They were dead on the inside. They are dead on the inside, right? They might be walking around doing all these things, but they were literally dead and black on the inside. And I did not want to become that person. I was a very happy person, and so, I'd laugh about things, and I'd be like, happy. And they'd always look at me and they'd say, just wait a few years and you'll realize that, there's nothing to be happy about. I'm sorry. So I said, no, I'm not going to wait a few years. And so I started really digging deep into what did I want to do with my life, right? I had the time, I had the money. So the job afforded me a lot of vacation and gave me a good salary. And so I could spend the time figuring out, what am I here on this planet to do? Why am I here? What am I doing here? What is the purpose of the universe working so hard to bring me into fruition, my consciousness into being? What is the point of it? Why, right? Why is this happening? And I read a lot. I would read 2 or 3 books a week. I read a lot, right? I would do a lot of midnight shifts, and I would just sit and read because there were no flights usually. I was just sitting there and I'd read and read and read like a crazy person. And I got so much insight and wisdom, right? Into the world, into all that stuff. And I realized that I had to leave. Right? I had to leave because no matter how perfect that job was, no matter how perfect it was in so many different ways, I could not be surrounded by all those people. If those people were not negative and bitter, I could have stayed there. But I did not want to be that person that waited 20, 25, 30 years to retire in order to live their real life, in order to live their true life. I did not want to become that person. I wanted to live it right now, whatever it might be, however it might be, even if I'm not making a lot of money, even if I'm living a not cushy job, right? And so obviously I quit and I did all the other things that I did over the past 10, 12, 13, 14 years. But that is where it began. That is where it started. And I guess I have to thank them for being bitter and cynical because it made me realize I couldn't stay there. If they had been nice and happy, then I would have been there. I wouldn't have done that trek. I wouldn't have worked so hard on figuring out, what am I doing here? Why am I here? What am I going to do with my life? Where am I going to go from here? All that stuff. I wouldn't have asked all those questions. But I did. Because I needed to leave. And there's whole lot more to this journey, obviously. But I wanted to share with you the beginning of it at least, right? And so like I said, it started at 21. And I did a lot of reading, a lot of writing, a lot of journaling. And the more I did all that reading and writing and journaling, I realized that I did not know what I wanted to do with my life. And that knowledge, that insight that I don't know, I just don't know what I want to do with my life, brought me so much grief. I felt so ashamed. And I wish I could go back and tell that person, that 21-year-old self of mine or the 23-year-old self who was so ashamed of herself because she did not know what she wanted to do with her life, where it seemed like everyone else around her knew exactly what they were supposed to be doing. They were exactly in where they were supposed to be. And the reality, of course, is that everyone else was faking it. And they weren't talking about the fact that they were lost as well, right? And I felt so ashamed of myself all the time. Because also my parents and my family and my friends and everyone made me feel ashamed because they would always wonder, you have an amazing job, you have an amazing life. Why are you always searching for something new? And I understood that, it was coming from a good heart, a good place. But it was actually a good question to ask. Why am I searching? What am I searching for? And why can't I just be happy with this? Everyone else seems to think they have a perfect life. Perfect, right? In every way possible. Except for me, I didn't feel like it was the life that I wanted to lead. And just the fact that I was asking that question made me feel like I was being disrespectful. I was being ungrateful. To everyone around me. I was fighting so much against this life where I could have just relaxed and just been in it. Just like everyone else was doing it. Everyone else was living that life and they were fine with it. Why can't I just be fine with it? Why can't I just be alright with it? Why not? And I would ask that question to myself over and over again. Why can't I just be alright with this? Why is it so hard for me to be alright with this? But I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. It was like I would force myself, right? And how I forced myself was I'd go shopping like a crazy person. I drank a lot of alcohol, a lot of water, no, a lot of alcohol, and I ate a lot. I tried to fill that gap that I was feeling with consumerism. Eating a lot of food, spending a lot of money on shopping and stuff that I didn't need, drinking a lot of alcohol, going clubbing all the time, blacking out, all of that stuff, right? And it did nothing. It did nothing. I still felt lost and empty, and I still was searching. Now that I, am in this space where I don't feel empty and lost and alone, and I don't feel like there's anything missing, I can see the big difference. I can see the big difference, guys, from who I was then to who I'm right now. Like a big chasm separates those two individuals. Humongous difference, right? And so I am grateful that I kept on going on this journey because at times in the past I felt like giving up because everyone else was saying to me, why are you doing this? Why can't you just be happy with the situation as it is? And I think to myself, I want to be. I really want to be. I really want it to be, guys. I really, really want it to be. I wanted to be happy as it was, right? I would have killed to be happy as that, right? I couldn't. And it was because my true self was saying that there's something more out there for you. There's something different, and you have to go search for it. Because if you don't, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. And so I searched and I searched and I searched, and I'm here right now, living my ideal life, or as close to it as possible. And I'm so grateful that I searched, and I'm so grateful that I kept on going on that journey, even though everyone else was telling me to be happy as I was. It's so easy to look back and say, you know, oh, it was easy, I should have kept on going. No, it was hard. And a lot of people are in that situation right now where they want to change their life, but everyone else is telling them that they live the perfect life. Why would you want to change anything? Everything is fine, just keep on going this way. Just go buy a few more things. Just go on a vacation and you'll be fine. Just go do something, you know? And we do that and it still feels empty. And we think to ourselves, are we crazy? Is there something wrong with me? Why can't I just be happy? Why can't I just be happy with this? Everyone else seems to be happy with it. Everyone else is fine when they go shopping and they buy $1,000 worth of stuff. They seem to feel better. Why don't I feel any better? Why don't I feel any better after eating so much or buying so much or drinking so much? Why don't I feel any better? Because it doesn't, right? It doesn't fill that gap. And I know now, and I'm so grateful that I kept on going. I guess the reason I'm doing this video is to tell you guys, please, 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 keep on going if you're on this journey. Do not listen to everyone else who's telling you that you should be happy. No, you shouldn't be happy in a space or a place where it doesn't jive with you. You shouldn't be, and you can't be. You can't be. Right? If you were going to be, you would have been. If you are not, there's a reason for it. So go and find out what that reason is and make that change that's necessary for you to feel happy. Because once you do, you will, right? We're not idiots here. We're not being unhappy for no random apparent reason. I didn't want to be unhappy, but there was something that was missing. And now that I found it, that I am happy. You know, I don't need anything else from the outside. Because I have filled that gap, I have filled that chasm, I have filled that hole, right? I hope that makes sense to you guys. Just keep on going. Just keep on going on this journey. Do not falter. Do not look back. And do not listen to all the naysayers. Just keep on going. I hope this makes sense to you guys. I hope that you guys have an amazing day wherever you are. If you guys want to join my team, go on to patreon.com/boomshikha. And I'll talk to you guys the next time around. Bye for now.